No, I don't, not at all. There is no shortage in the revenue that we're taking in right now. They may have certain problems with how it's coming in, but the amount of revenue that's actually coming in is quite adequate to staff the state and pay for all our needs as currently outlined. Absolutely not. Gas taxes should be dedicated for roads. We have a fine road system. They're keeping up and doing all the improvements. I really see no clear indication for an increase in the gas tax. The predicted apocalypse of all the electric cars on the road that would not pay gas tax really has not happened. It's been a small minority. When they start to become a minority, we'll have to reform how we do the gas tax, but as of right now, we're a long ways from that. There's not a right or wrong answer to service taxes. All taxes are ultimately paid by individuals, and so a service tax is not really a tax on individuals, and I can't see why expanding the service tax is better than, say, an increase in the personal income tax. That is an absolute disaster in the making. Even if they, in their minds, dedicate that to something that they think is valuable, within a generation, meaning 5 to 10 years in politician times, that will be diverted into some other thing not originally intended. And so far, you have to say the educational outcomes with the taxes outlined now have done well. And even though people will criticize us as having low amount of spending per pupil, our actually outcomes per pupil are outstanding. Qualified immunity is granting rights and privileges to people who are in the government that we as citizens don't enjoy. This is always inappropriate. They should have to operate and work under the same rules and regulations that the citizens do. And the second thing that's really important to me is occupational licensing. We've made a disaster of it in Utah. We are one of the highest occupational licensing places in the entire country. We have to dial this back considerably and allow people to practice their chosen professions without state interference. I'm a surgeon, and in a pandemic, I always tell people, would you rather have a physician, a politician, or an attorney run the state? And I am the only candidate that has a grasp of statistical modeling, which I've done quite a bit of, and it would be a great service to the state if I would be allowed to serve as governor for 4 years and help us through the pandemic. The inland port should be paid for entirely by user fees. The companies that reside there and choose to use it also should share the burden of that, because they're going to be sharing the profits. I'm a small businessman. I own my own surgical practice and my own surgical center. I understand completely about what's going on with the pandemic. And my biggest fear with the pandemic is we've forgotten the little people and the people who make $10 to $30 an hour, who are being made unemployed by the policies of this administration, is inappropriate, and there are ways to mitigate that. And I'd like to be at the forefront of leading people to those policies to get those least among us back to work and productive again.